Yo, what is happening, people? Welcome back to another episode of the Lake Show Digest. It's Thursday afternoon. Last night, the Los Angeles Lakers survived the play-in game against the Golden State Warriors in a 100-103 victory. If you missed the game, I feel bad for you because it lived up to the billing that came with it of being a LeBron James versus Steph Curry playoff matchup. An absolutely vile, disgusting, fucking nasty effort in the first half from the Lakers made it feel like we were about to get embarrassed. Then in the third and fourth quarter, Frank started playing the right rotations, and then they turned into the team we expected them to be. And when it became crunch time, but if you poll people beforehand, asking them what do you think is more likely, a Steph Curry 34-footer to win the game over LeBron, or vice versa, LeBron over Curry, most people probably would have picked Steph. I probably would have picked Steph. The fact that it was LeBron who won this game with a crazy off-balance 34-footer, low on the shot clock, for the game winner after being poked in the eye by Draymond Green minutes before, that was just the icing on the cake. It was a legendary game. It was a legendary night. But there is a ton to unpack about this, and today my guest Martin is going to help me out with it. Martin, bro, that game was a lot more stressful than it needed to be.
It was, man. It was very stressful. Really good introduction because I felt the same way about that, especially that first half. But
Yeah.
you definitely had NBA TV executives like licking their chops last night. They got, like you said, exactly what they wanted. I'm just glad.
Yeah.
I'm just glad we, survive in advance, man. I'm glad we're live to survive, live to play another day.
Yeah, we really saved the playing game because, dude, the Spurs Memphis game, the Boston Wizards game, the Indiana Charlotte, that was all dookie. We really put the
Yeah,
damn play-in tournament on the
right.
back, bro. My goodness. Let me get your thoughts first, man. Where were you watching the game? I think you told me you were doing a happy hour at a bar. Thank goodness the world is opening back up. What was that like?
Yeah, I was watching it. This was, man, the first time I've seen a Lakers game since we won the championship at a bar, like at an open place. As far
Mhm.
as like, I felt pretty comfortable because they took like the right precautions. Everybody, the staff have to wear masks, and the seats were spaced out so that it's not full capacity. And honestly, they got lucky and they have outdoor seating, and those seatings were very spacious with like large TVs. I watched the game with my dad.
Awesome.
Obviously, he's a diehard LA Lakers fan. So it was cool to like get into that element again. And yeah, it really was a great game, man. And the Lakers and the Warriors saved the play-in for Adam Silver's ass, man. That
For real.
Bobcats, Jesus Christ.
After that, they deserve to be called the Bobcats. So
I
they
called
got to
them the
earn the Hornets
Bobcats.
name back.
Yo, I called them the Bobcats. The Hornets Pacers game, I turned that off in the third quarter. Like, why'd you waste my time? And I gotta say, man, like, and we're gonna talk about the game, which I love to talk about. But I gotta say, the play-in game, people are in for a rude awakening because this is gonna stay, I think. And I'm telling you, man, most games are gonna be that Hornets and Pacers shit. That's what it's going to be every year. It's not going to be LeBron versus Steph Curry and Anthony Davis. Most games, I'm telling you, it's going to be trash. But
Yep.
yeah, we kind of did save it, man. I must say.
Yeah, this was a big outlier because I mean the Warriors would have had a better record if they had freaking Clay. If he didn't get hurt, we would have been at the
Exactly.
top if we didn't lose our guys. So this is an outlier. I guess they hope. You remember that playing game? It was an honorary playing game. It was the Nuggets versus I think the Wolves when they had Jimmy Butler.
Yeah, it was last game of the season. Winner goes in. Yeah.
Yeah, because of their head-to-head matchups and conference standings, division standings, and everything. A couple years ago, the Nuggets and the Wolves had like a playing game, sort of, and that came down to the wire. So I guess the league saw that and they wanted to, replicate those results. But I'm with you, man. This was kind of an outlier, but it was a legendary ass game. Going into it, I just thought LeBron versus Steph. I expect them both to come up, even though LeBron is kind of hurt. I say that in the moment, like, oh, it's going to be great, but I'd much rather just whip their ass straight up and not stress about it because I was stressing, bro.
Of course. Of course.
Um, let me get your thought process of that first half. What were you seeing and where were you at when you were watching the guys play?
Yeah, I mean, the first half was, so stressful for all of us. It was killing me, and that's exactly um, why the playing game was so nerve-wracking. Because in sports, you just have an off night sometimes, and sometimes it comes at the worst moment. And last night, it felt like that in the first half.
Hmm.
When Dennis, LeBron, and AD, I believe at one point in the first half were 2 for 22, I
Uh,
think. Shoot,
yeah.
they missed 20 shots, our three best players, right?
Hmm.
And so that's what the thing about a playing game. It's just one chance, like one opportunity. If we played the Warriors in a 7-game series, we'd be really comfortable beating them in 5, maybe 6. That'd be a stretch, I think,
And if
even.
it was a 7-game series, we might have just, I hate to say it, but who knows? Maybe we would have just rolled over and said we got their asses in game 2, but we didn't have that
Right,
opportunity.
and mailed in game 1, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, the shooting and just overall intensity. We weren't like matching the Warriors. Like
Horrible.
we were missing shots. Steph was good, but he wasn't like God mode Steph in the first half. He was good. He was good. Um,
Hmm.
and we just didn't really have. We were not offensively too many missed shots, and especially Anthony Davis. And I know, like, you're probably going to agree to, like, AD's first half, he just did not have like the mentality that this was a winner, like go home type thing. Like,
Yeah.
and the second half, he really made up for it with some big plays. He had some really great plays in the second half. But in the first half, AD was kind of sleepwalking, and that combined with the missed shots led to them going into half. We were down by what, 12 or so? Yeah,
13 on a last
13. Right,
second Curry 3. Yeah.
right.
Yeah, bro. The AD shooting, I was getting so pissed at that guy. He was just not. He was looking like the worst version of his injured self that we were seeing
Right.
all this year. But a lot of that was just because Drummond was on the floor, dude. The floor, the paint was kind of packed. Guys could be on Drummond. They can kind of help off AD. So when Drummond's on like that, he kind of has to take those jumpers, and the jumper was not falling. If this was AD from last playoff run, like half of those jumpers would have fallen, and it would have been a different game. But when we have Drummond on the floor and AD's shot isn't falling, it's just we gotta go away from that much quicker. But Frank really stuck with it, bro. I gotta say, man, I after the game I looked at how many minutes Drummond played. I'm like, this guy had to play at least 30, right? No, it was only 17 minutes, but it felt like he
That was
played
too
35
much.
minutes.
It felt like 44. It felt his 17 felt like 44.
That was
I
the
don't know.
longest 17-minute run I've seen in my life.
That's funny.
Yeah, bro. Um, Drummond, I mean, he wasn't all horrible. He made a couple good plays, but that's a matchup that I'd rather have Mark. Now, Frank was probably thinking maybe Drummond's a little faster on the perimeter. You have someone as deadly as Curry that you got to defend in pick and roll. I still probably would have ran with Mark because Mark does okay in pick and roll, and he's not as quick as Drummond laterally. But shit, man, the big takeaway from this was I was thinking, okay, the game matters now. This is a playing game. It's basically a playoff game. Frank isn't going to fuck around with these rotations. I think you had that assumption too, based off of other pods we've had. And pretty much everyone that I bring on the pod has had that assumption too, that Frank's experimenting, he'll bring on the right people when it matters. Well, the first half, he was treating it like a preseason game. And so were the Lakers in their mentality of it. But I have to shout out KCP and Alex Caruso and Kuzma too. Those are the only guys that were really bringing the fight in the first half, dude. They kept us in it.
They did. No, they did all the way. All three of those guys. Even like I'm not looking at a box score in front of me. But I know Kuzma didn't have more than 13 points, right? And
Yeah.
but like he just played a good game, and you could tell your eyes will tell you the story. And yeah, Caruso and
Kuz had
KCP
6, but he was +8.
a +8. Yeah.
Yeah,
I just
6
felt like
rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals. Yeah, man, he's not on this Lakers team. He's not going to be the third star that we all want him to be, but he's just turning into a really low mistakes kind of role player. And
yeah,
really
he had
happy
a good
with him.
game. He did.
Yeah, I kind of interrupted your thought though. Let me. Do you remember what you were trying to say?
No, I was just so 6 points. That's actually half of 13. But yeah, I just think that Kuz played a good game, but particularly in the first half, you hit it right on the head. Caruso, KCP, Kuzma, those three, like they just kind of had an energy, like like this. We give a shit in the first half. Thankfully, they had a fire lit under them, but shout out to those three guys.
Shout out to them, dude. Caruso was our leading scorer at the half with 12 points. I mean, that man was just doing it all. He was like, all right, if I got to be the GOAT tonight, I'm going to have to be the GOAT. So he scores 12 first half points. And, the Lakers are, battling around 10-point deficits the whole time. Yeah, bro, they weren't even going to Steph as a shooter much in that first half. It wasn't until the second quarter where he started looking for his own shot. It was just the Warriors, and we got to shout them out, just playing really good, focused, playing together kind of defense. Draymond was doing a really good job on AD, who has the height advantage, of course, but Draymond was just being the guy that we all know him to be, a defensive player of the year caliber guy. Drummond being on the floor makes it a little easier, but I still got to give my respect to him. And Andrew Wiggins, bro, I had a weird feeling that he was just going to get buckets on us, and he had 21 on the knife, man. He played really good defense on LeBron for a couple possessions, and he got LeBron's ass a couple times. But
he did.
Yeah, I know. Couple nice little turnarounds. I'm like, what the hell? Of course, Andrew Wiggins is going to do this against us, man. But thankfully, they turned it around in the second half. What did you think of that second half run, man? What'd you see?
Yeah, I mean, good point about. I got to give Draymond a shout out defensively yesterday. Man-to-man defense on AD and team defense. He really is such an amazing defender.
He was messing up our passing lanes like a motherfucker too.
He was, and like you said, it makes it easier when Drummond is on the court. That is a big caveat. It does make it easier when Drummond's big ass, who can't catch the ball and is not a threat to do anything in the post because he doesn't have
no lies were told just now.
It is easier. Having said that, you got to tip your hat to Draymond. That guy was rotating everywhere. He was a pest. He was switching on AD, then he was switching on LeBron, then he was calling out screens. He was great. Wiggins always has his antennas up against the Lakers. That's just I feel like every Wiggins game since he was on the Timberwolves, he's played pretty well against the Lakers. So I kind of
every
that.
Wiggins game I can recall from his Timberwolves day, bro.
Timberwolves Wiggins used to bust us up, man. Like he would have 23, 24, 25. And I was like, whoa, so I wasn't really that surprised. I thought Wiggins would, but second half, we came out, that first 5 minutes changed the whole game. First 5 minutes of the second half, everybody on the Lakers was just really locked in. We cut the lead, 13-9, and then to 8, and then to 7, and then to 3. And, shout out to, freaking LeBron, man. And that shot, what an amazing shot that he makes with 1 second on the clock. And Caruso, man, everybody's talking about it. And I'm glad that they are. I'm glad we all on the same page that we're talking about it. Caruso had a wide open 3 to take the lead, and he didn't hit the rim. He hit the side of the backboard. He hit the side of a backboard, and this is crunched. This is 2 minutes and 50 seconds left, and Caruso doesn't just ice water in his veins, man. Literally, the next possession, he just rips Steph Curry. Actually, he didn't rip him, but he hit the ball, and then it hit Curry's knee, and then it was our ball. That's why we love Alex Caruso. He just completely airballs this potentially game to go up 3, this go-ahead three-pointer, and he doesn't flinch for a second. He comes down, gets the turnover on Curry, and then 2 possessions later, I think he actually ripped Curry. Shout out to Caruso, man. And of course, like I said,
he was a monster, bro.
He's great, bro. He's great.
Yeah. I remember that play vividly too. And I knew when it hit the side of the backboard, I said, Caruso's not going to take that line down. Next possession, bro, he just runs up to the other side of the court, gets on Steph, smacks it away, bro. We get the ball back. That's why we love him, man. He does shit like that. And Kuzma does stuff like that too. But I think people that aren't Laker fans and don't watch all the time, they don't really notice it as much because
Right.
they just kind of look for those moments where he's going to be a guy that takes the ball in his hands and becomes a scorer. And these days, he's not that guy very often. But we can always expect that from Alex. And shout out to him, big time, dude. I want to bring up a stat tweeted out by Pickup Hoop. So Anthony Davis at power forward, 21 minutes, 3 points, 1 of 11, -3. Anthony Davis at center, 21 minutes, 22 points, 9 of 13, +6. So
Big difference.
that's a minor difference, would you say?
Yeah, it's significant. Well, I mean, what'd you say? He was 1 for 11 at
Yeah.
1 for 11 at power forward. Yeah, that's crazy. I think, time will tell, man. I don't want to go like too into it, and like we could talk about the preview for the Suns, but I gotta say, man, I think Vogel on Sunday should start Gasol or start Kuzma. Like start Gasol at the 5, AD at the 4, or start Kuzma and start AD at the 5. It's clearly that his shot isn't there right now with Drummond out there, and that stat you said by Pickup Hoop, that really doesn't. It definitely felt like he was really, really struggling a lot more at forward. 1 for 11. That is, I mean, yeah, that's awful. Yeah,
And last year's AD would have shot that a little better. He did have
he
some
would
open
have, right?
shots, but holy shit. Going back to what you said about matching up with the Suns, it might be a good idea with Mark, just because I think I trust Mark a little more in defending the pick and roll. And what do you think they're going to run with Chris Paul all the live long day? Chris Paul to Ayton pick and rolls, pick and pops with Booker. It's
Right.
going to be all that, man. I would really like to see Vogel not fuck around anymore and just start Mark. But even after the game, he had a comment. Someone asked him about Drummond. He was like, yeah, I thought he did pretty good out there, actually.
Yeah, bro. What?
I'm like, Vogel, I hope you're lying right now, man. He's got to know. He's got to know what's going on, dude.
Right.
But this Phoenix matchup, it's pretty favorable. I think we've talked about it in the past. Just going back to that game a couple weeks ago, we whooped them without Dennis and without LeBron. Now with them getting back in the lineup, the dynamic will change. But I'm sure the guys got data on what happened in that game, and I'm feeling pretty good about that matchup. My friend who is a Suns fan is very scared of that matchup. I texted him right after this game. I was like, I'll see you on Sunday, bro. And he just sent me the gif of Homer kind of receding into the bushes. You know that one? So he's not ready.
Of course.
He's not ready for it, man. Yeah, what are your thoughts on that matchup overall, just so we can run it down again?
Yeah, I mean, Phoenix is, all things considered, a pretty favorable draw for us because it's definitely an Anthony Davis series. I think he can really just get to the free throw line, and I'm hoping, like you said, maybe Gasol starts and AD's shot will fall in this series. I also think it's a big time series for Schroeder, man. He got his ass lit up yesterday. Now, granted, that's Steph Curry. He did that to everyone, but Schroeder got lit up yesterday, and he needs to. Now he's going up against, Chris Paul, one of the best point guards, of in NBA history. Like Schroeder, this is why Pelinka traded for you, for these moments. So I'm looking for Dennis to match up against Chris Paul, and yeah, like I said, all things considered, honestly, it's a pretty good draw for us. The Phoenix they deserve to be the 2 seed. Monty Williams is coach of the year. I think he deserves that too. There's a lot of candidates that were, close in that running for coach of the year, but I think he deserves it, Monty Williams, and it's going to be a tough series, and we'll just have to see how it folds.
It'll be a big series for Schroeder and AD for sure, man. This will be a good way for them to get back in their rhythm. Schroeder used to play with Chris Paul back at OKC, so
right.
And it's also the first time that LeBron and Chris Paul have ever matched up in a playoff series. Ain't that cool?
Man, that's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to that. Just talking about Schroeder yesterday, he was a scapegoat a bit along with Drummond, but I thought I rewatched the game. We were talking about it before we started recording. He made some good plays. I don't want to say that he was all bad, bro. He made a big 3. he made some good drives to get to the line when we really needed a bucket.
Yeah, he did.
It's just he did not have Curry. He did get a really good block on Curry. You remember that transition block?
Yeah, I do remember the block, and that was a good point. In the second half, he definitely played better than the first. Got to the free throw line, and he made his free throws, which is, it's not just getting the line. You got to knock him down. He did the big three. I'm glad you got to do a rewatch and see that. So hopefully he can keep that momentum against, the Suns on Sunday night, on Sunday.
I expect him to look a little better on Sunday because the man's still coming back from COVID. I don't think it was ever really confirmed. But the tricky thing about COVID, too, is it's lingered in guys like Westbrook and like Jason Tatum, too.
Yeah.
So I'd hope that with 3 days of rest, we'll see a little bit better results from Schroeder. But it's a wild card, man. We will see about that. Nonetheless, it's going to be a really big series for him. Looking forward to him. He's just a dog, bro. I think he's going to have some good moments in this series for us.
I think so, too.
Yeah, it just wasn't his night against the Warriors, and that's what's tricky about the play-in. You get one chance, and if you don't, you're kind of shit out of luck, although we would have had two. Anyways, the guy whose night it was, we got to shout out, bro. We've slandered him a bit on this pod, but Wesley Matthews, man. Plus 17.
Yeah, Wesley was really good, man. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
I was actually going to give it to you, so go for it.
No, Wesley, that was a big, I see the moments in Frank Vogel when he does know what the hell he's doing. I mean,
that fourth quarter was when I was like, okay, Frank is finally taking it seriously.
Right, and I don't know why you have to wait until the fourth, but that was a big turning point, was the Wesley substitution. And all year long, Wesley sometimes he's been borderline, damn, like this is it for Wesley. I feel like you're gonna have to retire after the year, But then, we don't win without Wesley last night, dude. He really came up clutch. He was rotating his ass off on defensive switches. He was playing man-to-man, and he made that shot. So I know he didn't play probably more than, I would say, I don't know, 14 to 16 minutes, but they were big, man. They were really good minutes.
14 minutes, yeah, and he was a team leading plus 17. Only had 3 points, but dude, he was a extreme difference maker. Yeah, it was about 2 minutes left in 2 or 3 minutes left, 3, and Schroeder was still in, and I'm like, okay, he just got burned by like a little Curry move. When is Frank going to bring Wesley back in? And just right on cue, brought back in Wes, and so that closing lineup of Caruso, AD, LeBron, Wesley, maybe it was Kuz too. Anyways, 80 at the 5. That's what closed it. Wesley Matthews was so huge for us. And shout out LeBron for that gigantic 3, dude. Did you think it was going in?
Man, I swear, nothing ceases to amaze me, bro, with this guy. I can't even believe he's on my favorite basketball team. Like, seriously.
I still can't believe it either.
Like, we signed LeBron James, after they got, completely waxed by the Warriors in the finals. Obviously he's LeBron. He could do whatever he wants. At that point, he could have signed 1-year deals for the rest of his life in Cleveland, or maybe, I don't know, go to New York or go to Florida or go back to Miami. But he signed with the Lakers, bro. Like, my team, so spoiled. I got to say, that shot, when he shot it, I didn't think, okay, that's going in. But nothing surprises me anymore, bro. Nothing surprises me.
And, I mean, just doing it after the fact that he got poked in the eye. He said he was seeing triple, but...
the triple ribs, right? What did he say?
Yeah.
He said, LeBron is he's so funny, bro. He's so extra. But, man, I love him. He is so extra.
I wanted to touch on, how extra he was, bro, because he got poked in the eye. Yeah, that hurts. But he was like, I saw triple rims, and I just threw that the middle one.
LeBron is just unintentionally hilarious. The memes coming out from when he was getting up, when he got poked in the eye. Which the eye poke did not look fun. Okay, now I will say, Draymond fouled the hell out of him.
Absolutely.
He really got hit hard, right in that face. That does not look fun. But LeBron is so extra, man.
Dude, yeah. Jason Concepcion tweeted, like, if LeBron missed that shot, he was going to act like he was, blind for the rest of his life. He was going to act like he was never going to see again.
I'm glad he made it,
Yeah, I know. I like how we as Laker fans can still kind of poke fun at that because, man, when he does get hurt on a play like that and he does make it, he gets extra about it. I mean, he even said to Steph afterwards, the camera caught him mouthing, like, I couldn't even see as he was backpedaling the other end after he made that. Super fortunate to have him on a team, dude. It doesn't feel real that that he's a Laker, kind of like how it doesn't feel real that, I'm sorry to bring this up, that Kobe is not with us anymore. I don't know. It just doesn't. Those two things are still something that I catch myself being like, oh, that really happened.
Me too, man. Me too.
Two different sensations. One really negative and one, really hopeful and positive. But yeah, I still get the same thing where I'm like, oh, LeBron's a damn Laker. We got Anthony Davis on the Lakers. When he does these game-winning defensive plays and shit.
Yeah. Also, shout out to him. That speaking of, LeBron with the game winner, and then Davis with this just crazy block that only he can make at the end of the game because of his wingspan. Great play by AD at the end, and Caruso actually. Caruso was awesome defense at the end.
They defended it like I hoped they would. I was like, I honestly hope Anthony Davis starts defending Curry on the perimeter. And what do you know? They were right there.
And Davis was out there 30 feet away. Yeah, crazy.
I know. Warriors fans want to act like it was a foul. I mean, if it was the first quarter, maybe that would have been a foul if it's a tight game being whistled. But at the end of games, bro, they never call that shit. You really got to earn that last shot. Really glad to see AD defending Curry on that last portion of it. And then AC coming in with the trap. Yeah, bro, it was all good. I think we gave proper shouts and everything. I think that kind of wraps up. You got any final words?
Look, man, we're 16 games away. That's my final wrap. We're 16 away. So technically this would be 17, which is obviously never happened for an NBA champion to need to win 17. Mm-hmm. And we're not going to have home court advantage in any series, including the finals. So I'm looking forward to Sunday, man. Hopefully when the next time we talk, we have, a series lead on Phoenix, dude.
Yep. Big time, man. Thanks for coming on today.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
All right. Later.